This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, hi everyone. Good morning, all.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah. So before we uh, right, let's have a little bit of introduction. Then we'll proceed from here. Right. So before I introduce myself, let someone any one of you can introduce yourself. Uh, your name, where are you working? Are you fresher? Are you trying to switch a technology? Like a small brief intro, right? That would be great to proceed with this demo. So anyone would like to feel free to just introduce yourself.
Hi, this is Vanindra. I'm a senior QA automation engineer looking to change the career switch to DevOps.
Okay.
Yes, hi
Okay,
all.
great.
Yes, Prashad.
Hi, Shiva. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a software engineer and into technology.net. Even I have a in Azure as well, but like to switch with Azure as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Hi, this is Rohit, and I'm working for Infosys as a software engineer, uh, as a AWS administrator. So I want
Okay,
to switch for the this Azure DevOps. Yeah,
okay, great.
thank you.
Thank you. So few more folks will join in sometime. Okay. So this
Sure.
is just intimated. Fine. So meanwhile, let me introduce myself. So my name is Sagar. I am the trainer for this DevOps in Azure. So I'll be teaching you end-to-end DevOps and end-to-end Azure. Um, Coming to my experience, I have total 12 years of experience in this field. So I started my career somewhere in 2011 as an intern. Then from there, first I got my career into your Linux administration. I was a Linux administrator where I worked for 1 year. Then I started slowly with build and release technology, which was the older technology to DevOps. Then I got a chance to work on your DevOps. So then from there my journey started. So I'm still working. So I'm a team lead at Mastercard. I work for a company called Mastercard, and my previous experience, I worked with Wipro, I worked with Infosys, I worked with a company called Altimetric, right? So this is my fourth company where I'm working in the Mastercard currently. So I'm a team lead. Under me there are like six people work under me. So I manage like 4 to 5 different projects under me. So in this morning times I take these classes, and my shift starts from the afternoon. So that's a brief intro about myself. Uh, so coming to today's agenda, right? So today's agenda, okay. So we'll be speaking more about your DevOps overview, your cloud computing, okay, your Azure cloud engineering, and then we'll speak about your industries, like where your DevOps and Azure is used. This is the most important thing because It's not only about Azure, it's about the entire cloud which is used by industries. So you should know that when you are in this, when you are in this domain of your DevOps and cloud domain, so you need to see like which all places you have visibility, or which all places you have option to go and work, right? And then accelerate your career. How do you take a good journey or have a good roadmap? Okay, already you might be there in that journey, but how do you go in a step by step wise from this journey to build up your career from there? Fine. So before we dwell into this agenda, let's come back to few prerequisites. Fine, a lot of the people might have this doubts. So prerequisite for DevOps with Azure. So time and patience is most important, guys. Why? Because this is one of the digital technology. Okay, DevOps is one digital technology, cloud is one digital technology, which is demanding in the market, because uh, as the population is growing, this demand for DevOps and cloud is growing. Okay, so why this is associated with the population, I'll come in some time. But the time and patience is very important. Why I'm saying? Because you may start little bit slow in your career, right? Maybe with low salary or with some small company, but once you gain experience and when you jump into a good company, you get a good salary there, because we have seen people with the 4 year experience having like 25 to 30 lakhs of salary. And also like we have seen like managers earning almost 70 to 80 lakhs in some companies, product based companies, right? So service based companies are also there, product based companies also there, startup also there, right? So it depends upon the choice where you want to go, okay, what level of work you want to achieve, right? So that is where your time and patience will help you. And second most important thing is basics of Linux administration. It's not only basics, I prefer that you should have an advanced level of Linux. Why? Because your complete DevOps in Azure is based on your Linux. You may use Windows here and there, it's fine. Okay, some Windows environment will be there, but 90% of the projects will be Linux based. Why? Because Windows is not that much secured as an operating system. Azure is secure, Azure Microsoft is secured, but that Windows, they don't use it because it's little bit slow. There are some less features compared to your Linux, because Linux provides you most of the security features where your application, when it goes live, that application requires a lot of security in your infrastructure. So there is where we have Linux. We'll be teaching you good amount of Linux here. We'll be covering that also, not at the just basic level, at a advanced level of Linux, which is required for DevOps, will be touching here. Then anyone who is passionate to quick start their career, they can start. There is no hard prerequisite. We don't require any of your previous knowledge. Then programming is not mandatory. Okay, it is not at all mandatory for us. We don't need to learn it. Okay, if someone is interested, they want to add some programming, they can add it. Okay, but that is not required for DevOps, because DevOps is completely different from your coding. Then anyone from different backgrounds, graduates, undergraduates, web development, okay, different fields, different background you have, doesn't matter. Okay, because we have students from various fields, like some is from civil engineering, some is from MBBS, MBA. So multiple people are coming from multiple streams and they are working now, right? So that doesn't matter, because some you're learning something from scratch, so that will not have any uh, hard prerequisite in your career. Then moving on, this is the course outline which we define it, right? First, introduction to DevOps world. This is very important to understand what is DevOps, how DevOps works. Okay, what was their previous DevOps? Why? Because when you sit in the interview, right, when you go for the manager round or when you go for the client round, where they ask you scenario based questions, so they ask you what is your understanding about DevOps. Okay, how do you, for example, they ask you a question in scenario like, we have a product which is a very old product, how do you bring that in the DevOps practice? So you should have that concept, we should have that theoretical knowledge, how do you bring this into DevOps world, right? And practical, how you're going to do it. So this is important to understand before you jump into the course. And then Linux administration, we are going to learn good amount of Linux administration. Almost we'll be spending like more than 1.5 week on this. It's not just 1 or 2 days where you learn Linux basic commands and do. No, we are learning at the advanced level, we'll be spending like 1.5 to 2 weeks just for Linux. Then moving on, we have DevOps tools. We have like almost we have almost like 15 plus DevOps tools in this picture. Then you have Azure Cloud Engineering. We'll be learning all the architectures here of your Linux. Like we'll be drawing the architecture modules for your different services. And the last and the most important thing, doesn't matter the person is experienced, the person is working, or the person is a fresher. Interview guidance. Okay, the most important thing is interview. Like how do you prepare your resume? Okay, what kind of a content you add in that, and how do you speak in the interview when you want to crack a scenario, you want to crack you want to answer a question, you want to brief something about it. So how do you crack it? Okay, now next thing, this is the tools which you have, will be covering as part of this. We'll be keeping all your tools for your DevOps. Then moving on, we have 6 hands-on projects, and these projects are not at the end. In between that, first you cover your first DevOps tools, will start your projects from there. Okay, your end-to-end projects will start. Behind every tool there's a project. This is not just for your uh, doing a project, it is for your hands-on. Like daily we'll be doing your practical work. Like daily 1 hour session will, if you have, half an is theory, half an is practical. How much theory is important, that much practice is also important. Why? Because theory is required because you want to speak in the interview. If you just keep doing the practical, you need a content to speak in the interview. Okay, because no one will allow you to do a practical in the interview. There's no time, right? So hardly you have some 20 minutes for the interview where you have to speak. So you should have a lot of content, okay, where you experience your practical with your theoretical knowledge, okay, so that you can speak in the interview. Fine. Then moving on, okay, moving on, you might have seen the syllabus part. I hope you guys got that syllabus part, right? Okay, so you have that syllabus part where we start with introduction to your DevOps world. Okay, then you have Linux operating system. I told you, right? We'll be learning this operating system in detail, like how do you install softwares, how do you take backups, how do you give the permissions. Okay, how do you manage the privileges. Okay, and all that things we'll be learning here with the shell scripting, how to automate it, your automation thing. Then your DevOps will start. Okay, with all your uh, behind every tool there are like scenario based questions where we'll be providing you interview questions so that you can prepare. Okay, in detail about your tools. We have mentioned it. You feel something is missing, you can come back, we'll look into it. Okay, and then your cloud engineering. Okay, then your cloud engineering, and the most important thing, your resume preparation, your self introduction round. Okay, your grooming on your, if you want to change your resume. Okay, that all the things will be speaking in this. Apart from that, whatever we learn here, we'll be sharing everything with you, your running notes, your diagrams, your recorded videos, your scenario based questions, your resumes preparation, right? Everything will be sharing with you. Fine. This is about the agenda part. And we don't use any ppts, we don't encourage the ppt work here. Why? Because everything we show you on your whiteboard. Like we draw this architectures. If you see this architectures, this is how the architecture is drawn, how your network works, how your auto scaling works. Okay, again there's a separate diagrams for this. Okay, how do you reopen the real time application? That means the real time, when someone purchases your, when your organization purchases a uh, Azure account, what all things they'll do initially, right? How your application will open. So real time will be creating the applications, will be drawing the architectures, will be based on this architecture, your procedures will be created. Fine. Then same way, see your Git. How do you do the pull request? And your company, how do you do the adding your important files to the GitHub, right? How do you do the procedures? Okay, how it works. So all that thing, same your projects, right? How do you do the end-to-end architectures? Okay, how do you build and deploy your application, right? All that things, how do you do in the Kubernetes or your Docker or your Ansible, right? So all that things, how the structure works. Okay, we'll be defining this procedures. Then based on that, you'll be working. It can be anything, any project, you'll be doing the same thing. Any project which you want to do it, you'll be doing the same thing with your Ansible, with the Docker, with the Kubernetes. Okay, all these things will be planning it here. Right, we'll be planning it here with the, right? No, fine. Let's come move on. Let's come to the Stick to the basics, right? So I'll take like 15-20 minutes. Okay, then I'll take a pause. We'll have little bit of question and answer. Then I'll go to the technical diagram. Right? Now let's okay. So everything is provided in the form of notes. If you see, this is the previous batch where everything we give you in the form of notes, because what happens if everything I draw the diagram every time, you can't watch the video and recall the things, so you require a notes also, where you have a proper installation, proper concepts written, what is the definition, so that you can prepare for the interview as well. And when you start a journey of the DevOps, it is not just like you're learning a course for 1 year or 2 year, like it is for the next 5 to 10 years investment. So the same notes will help you for the rest of the interviews where you attend it, or in your day-to-day task when you go for a company, you want to do some automation, right? So you can pick up some handy things from here. Okay, that is the reason we are preparing this. Like anything we track each and every syllabus what you've written day to day thing. We give you definition, installations, your commands, everything. We'll note it down, okay, so that we can share it to you end of the day, so that if someone is missing a class, someone is not available, everything is tracked, okay, according to your diagrams what you draw it, okay, what are the procedures you write it, everything is tracked here. So that end of the day we'll give it to you. What are the project notes, how many projects you created, right? Every project you do is complete 6 projects which you mentioned, that 6 projects will be covering it here, okay. 6 project what you mentioned, 6 project number 4, project number 5, and project number 6. So definitely the projects will be covered here end of the day, so that you get the end-to-end answer, okay. That is what we share, everything whatever we have, your recorded videos, notes, and everything, end of the day we share it, because you have, you can refer this in future also in case you require it, right? Fine. Let's move on. So as I have a limited time in the demo, so that's only the reason we go with this what do you call, PPT kind of a concept. Otherwise we don't touch PPTs, because you require a real-time knowledge where we explain everything diagrammatically, we note it down things, so that you can refer in future. Now let's move on. So let's stick to some basics, then I'll take you to the technical part of this. Fine. So now, what is DevOps, right? What is DevOps? Why this DevOps concept came in the market? Why are we want to learn this DevOps technology, or like why people are attaching DevOps with cloud? They like Azure DevOps, AWS DevOps, or like they want the GCP DevOps. Like why do we require this different cloud and different things, right? So basically, very first, this DevOps is not a technology. Initially it didn't came as a technology. DevOps came as a process. They wanted a process to build a product. So that's the reason this DevOps came. And this, there are two keywords if you see, ops and dev, okay. So dev is a developer, op is a operational guy, okay. Operational people like Linux admin, network admin, AWS admin, DevOps admins, they all these are your operation guys, okay, who do the operations, who works on different tools. And then developer is a person who will be doing a coding. But what is there before DevOps? What was there before DevOps? When you say DevOps, right, what is there before DevOps? So before DevOps there was something called a technology called build and release technology, okay. There was something called build and release technology which was previous before DevOps. But why that technology went and this build and release came? So let's understand this traditional system to understand why the DevOps came into picture. So there was a drawback in your build and release. There was a drawback in the build and release. So what happened? The term build and release. So developer is a person who is building it. So take an example of a car manufacturing company, right? So this car manufacturing company, what it did, here there are traditional development happening where developers are developing all the spare parts. Developer are developing all the spare parts, okay. They're creating all different spare parts for the car, and they're creating a final documentation. They're creating a documentation. They created all the spare parts, they created documentation, and they shared the documentation with your operation people who are the release people, okay. So here they are doing a build, here these people are doing a release. So what happened, these operation people are reading the documentation, fixing everything. So somehow the car is working fine. They gave it to the customer. Now we don't know the customer who is purchasing the car. He may drive, he may be the experienced person, he may be a new person who is driving a car. There may be a person who may be driving rash, there may be a person who will be driving very slow, there may be a person who will be driving in the rain, some people will be driving the hilly station, we don't know. So what happened, these people build the spare parts, they created documentation, these people fixed it, they sold the car to a customer. Customer is spending lakhs of amount in purchasing the car. After 100 kilometers the car has stopped. After going 100 kilometers the new car got stopped. Now who is a mistake, whose mistake is this, that car got stopped? It's a customer mistake or it's the company's mistake? It's obviously a company's mistake. Why? Because if these developers and these operations would have worked together, tested this properly, that issue might never come. Now customer is coming with a complaint saying that my car has stopped after going 100 kilometers. I spent lakhs of amount in a car. Now the same thing, check in today's world, how your car is tested. You see the crash test is happening. People are doing yours, taking the new cars and roaming all over the world, okay, checking the stability of the car, okay, they do the crash test, they give it to the racers who will test, the experts will be driving it on the tracks and checking how car is stable. They'll be driving like more than like 2 3 thousand kilometers and check the stability, right? The mileage, everything, right? The features, everything is checked today. So that customer never comes with the issues. So that is how the business is run. But in the traditional model, what happened, now there was a problem. Someone is building who has a knowledge, someone is fixing it and giving to the customer. So this was a challenge, right? There was no proper testing, no proper collaboration between developer and operation to build a quality product. So they couldn't build a quality product in the build and release technology. The previous technology which was there before was called build and release technology. They couldn't build a quality product. To overcome all these challenges, what are the problem they're facing, what are the process they used it, to overcome all these challenges in traditional development operations, they wanted to create a new word called DevOps. They wanted to create a new word for a process called DevOps process, where they wanted developers and operations to work together to build a quality product. They wanted them, these two people, to work together to build a quality product. Okay, so there is where a DevOps process came into picture. Now, then if I'm saying everything is process, then where is technology? So they brought a process called DevOps. DevOps is a practice, DevOps is a process, DevOps is a culture of operation and development working together to build a quality product right from design to the production. That means right from building the product till it goes live in the market, DevOps process is used. Today, every product in the market, you see your mobile phone, your TV, or any product you take is built on DevOps process, because DevOps is a proper streamlined process which is used. Okay, so DevOps is a practice or operation development engineers participate together in the entire life cycle from their design through the development process through the production support, right? So this is the definition. Now to achieve this entire process, they want a life cycle, they want a process. So DevOps actually is a process. That process, to achieve that, they wanted a life cycle. So they brought a life cycle, like this kind of life cycle, like how should you do a planning, how should you do a build, what level of integration, what level of testing, what level of deployment. So all this is a process, they wanted this process to be used in. So what happened, to implement this DevOps practice or a process, they wanted a technology. So behind this life cycle, behind this every life cycle goal, you have your technology situated. Now the planning, in the planning you have ticketing tools like Jira ticketing, your service now ticketing, your build and code, your Maven, your GitHub, your JFrog, okay, all that thing. There's integration, Jenkins tool is there. Then your testing, your Sonar Cube comes into picture. Then your deployment, your Ansible, Tomcat, your Kubernetes, your Docker, all the things comes into picture. Feedback is just a form. Improvement is also like everything you have to improve it. And monitoring, you have multiple monitorings today, right? Cloud monitoring is there. You have Grafana, Prometheus. You have like log monitorings, your ELK stack, okay, Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. So what happened? These people, they first bought a process. To manage this process, they wanted a life cycle. To run the life cycle, they wanted a technology. There is where your technology came into market. So now that is where you ask people are going behind the technology called DevOps. Okay, they're going with DevOps technology. Technology came from here. First DevOps came as a process. To run that process, to implement that process, they wanted technology. That technology has come from this life cycle where you have various DevOps tools in the market. Now every product will be built in the same phone. You want to build a phone, you have to do the planning, you have to do the coding, you have to do the testing, you have to get the feedback from the customer, you have to monitor it. That is the way, right? Today your phones get latest software updates. How? They are monitoring, right? Which, when this device was purchased, who purchases, everything, every information is there with the companies. So this is what your DevOps definition is, where it is a practice where operation developments work together to build a quality product right from development till it goes live in the market. Fine. Now, who is a DevOps engineer? So DevOps engineer is a professional IT professional. We are no more support people. Previously Linux admin, network admin, we are support people. Now it's IT professional. That's why if you see this keyword O is capital. Why this is ops capital? Because how much demand is there for a developer, more than that demand is for operation. Why? In simple terms, right? If you see here, you take any website, you go and search any website in the, you take Amazon or you take Mintra, you take Flipkart, you take anything. Do you see there's a lot of change daily happening in the website? Hardly we see a change in the website happening, right? Only when there is a sale, when there's a, because previously Amazon website was different, now it is different, now it is full-fledged built. So now what happens when a new website is built, there's lot of demand for developer initial time, like 1.5 year when the website is built. But once the website is built, the demand goes down for a developer. Demand is not that high for a developer, because when there is when there is website creation, the dev has a lot of demand. When once the website is created and it is stable, the demand for the developers go down. Now the demand for the operation people starts from here. That means when the website is about to build, when the developers are building a website, there's a demand for them. Once the website is built, it is stable. Now the actual work of operation starts, that we are the people who are managing the websites. We are not worried about the code. We make sure that with the DevOps tools, with the cloud environment, your Amazon website is always 24 by 7 up. Your Amazon website is never down, right? Amazon website is never down with the help of your DevOps and your cloud technologies, right? So there is where your demand is high. Why? Because until Amazon is there, until Amazon is running the business, you have DevOps engineers sitting behind this Amazon.com to manage your Amazon, to manage the application of Amazon. We are sitting there until the website is there, until the website is live, until the company is running. The day Amazon will shut down their business, that day our jobs will go. But is Amazon going to shut down? It is not going to shut down their business. Okay, it is growing day by day. That means as soon as the businesses are growing, the demand for the DevOps engineer will grow, because we require people who can manage the work here. We require people who can manage the work here. So that is where the demand for your operation is very high compared to your developers. That's why it is saying IT professional who work with software developers, system operators, and other production staff for managing code risk. That means managing the website. We are not worried about the code. And then we should have hard and soft skills to communicate. That means you require a proper communication with others, as well as you require a little bit of technical skills. Then we require some automations. Automation already we are covering. We are learning your Ansible, we are learning your Docker, we are learning your Ansible, your shell scripting. Okay, we are learning your Terraform. All that what you have, we are covering here. Your Jenkins pipelines, we are running all the automation, right? Then responsibilities. So DevOps is a full-time job, guys. There is no part-time, nothing. There are certain companies who will give you contract kind of a job, that is secondary. Okay, but we are responsible for managing the application. Any website, we are responsible for that. Okay, then soft DevOps engineers should have a strong CI/CD skills, continuous integration, continuous deployment, that we are covering here. Okay, then should have any of the cloud knowledge like Azure, AWS, GCP. To this year you learn Azure, next year you learn AWS and GCP. Both are similar. Okay, and then able to perform troubleshooting. You should have a troubleshooting skill. That's why behind every DevOps tools I'm keeping a troubleshooting steps. And then your cloud operations, manage all the infrastructure, do the automation. We are doing automation, and have a soft skills. Okay, this is what you require it for your career. Fine. Now Let's come back in little bit of real time, and then I'll go for question and answers. Now, early in the morning we wake up, right? What do we do? The first thing, we watch our smartphones, right? We watch our smartphones, we watch Instagram, we watch your WhatsApp, we watch your if you someone is interested in LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat, right? Now, how do you think that is 24 by 7 up? How that is 24 by 7 up? Whenever you open that app, it is opening for you. Whenever you want to you check the status and everything, it is available, because it is running in behind your DevOps and cloud and DevOps is sitting behind your all the applications which is running in the market. Okay, that's why it is run. Because when you see the Instagram reels, so many reels, is it stored in your phone? No, it is stored in cloud. Go and search in Google which all companies are using your AWS and Azure. Now it's the time to explore. Okay, because from here you have to explore the journey. Learning a course is one phase. Exploring about where I'll get the jobs is second phase. That is most important. See, all your things, companies using DevOps tools. How many companies? Netflix is using your DevOps. Okay, check all the companies which are using your DevOps. See everywhere, because this is what important. End of the day, where you apply the jobs. Okay, see your companies using your Azure. How many companies are using? See, your BMW, your car showroom itself is using your company using Azure, right? So check everywhere. Lot of companies are there which are using Azure. Okay, you should have this knowledge of checking that. Same way, check your jobs. How many jobs are there? Okay, see, your lot of jobs or openings are there for your Azure. See, you have this openings 2 days ago. So check everywhere what is the demand for it, because end of the day you have to research it, right? So check all the demand, check the salary what you're getting. See, the basic salary for a cloud engineer today is getting 9 lakhs in India, right? There's more than that. If you go to service based company, they're giving more. If you go to a service based company, there's more high paying salaries there. Like I have seen freshers getting 14 lakhs per annum. Okay, there is like experience, like 3 to 4 years experience of people are getting 20 to 25 lakhs, right? So there is a demand for it. There's huge demand for it, where only thing you have to explore it. Now, imagine that using this all this Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, everything. Do you think it is only used by educated people? It is used by every person, small kids, teenagers, okay, mid-aged people, okay, like our parents, then your even the senior citizens are using today. It's a medium to communicate, right? It's a medium entertainment challenge. You have Netflix. Okay, Netflix, you have your Amazon, Disney Star, Geo Cinemas, multiple things are there. If you see, behind every website your DevOps tool is sitting. Check the companies about Instagram, check the companies about Netflix. DevOps technology is used, Azure cloud is used. Why? Because you require that much data to be stored inside a cloud. You require infrastructure to run that application, and you require DevOps technology to manage that application. So everywhere this is demanded. Your software companies are using, your automobile companies, your car showrooms, BMW, Suzuki, Skoda, multiple companies are using this website. So every website requires this cloud and DevOps. Insurance, you just hit in Google, right? Best insurance companies in India, 100 plus companies will come. Every company has a website. Every company require your DevOps tools and your Azure cloud, right? So financial institutes, check all your financial institutes, like your loan. Okay, what is credit card department? All these things are today your Google Pay, Phone Pay, all these are fintech companies, right? So these companies require a website. That website is again managed by a DevOps in Azure. Okay, banking, today you do all the online transaction. Okay, you have mobile banking, you have like different apps for doing the transactions, right? Social media, daily you're using it, right? Your healthcare services, every hospital has a website. Your medicines are coming online, you have apps for it. Okay, you can consult a doctor over the website. So everywhere you require a website today. Any company start, they require a website. You start a startup, you start anything, your government website, a lot of government websites are there you want to manage, right? Everything requires a DevOps. The DevOps is very important in today's world, because that is demanding. Education is online now, we connected online. That is also online, right? Your e-commerce website, everything is online. So you don't only have a job in software, guys, you have a job outside software as well. Okay, there are, like, if your age is below 26 years, you have job in DRDO. If you heard about this DRDO, this is one of the government company, central government company, which will provide you the DevOps engineer jobs. Then you have something called AI, Airport Authority of India. This is one of the biggest firm where you get starting salary is 11 lakhs for a fresher. Okay, there is also DevOps required. There's a notification every year, it comes in like somewhere in August or sorry, October, somewhere it comes, and that exam is written in November. Okay, now the results might have come in the April or somewhere, it will come here. So starting salary is 11 lakhs. So a lot of government jobs also there for this DevOps, because every website is required to manage. Lot of government websites are there which we need to manage, right? So see first, see the trend of this, what is the future for it, then think about the course. Okay, if there is no future for this, don't learn it. Any technology you go, not only learn DevOps and Azure, you learn any technology in the market, I'm not stopping for it, but check the future. Okay, understand that where all DevOps is your, how much it is your, which all places it is used, what is the salary I'm getting, what is the scope for it. Okay, today I'm joining as senior DevOps. Tomorrow, do we have team lead positions, how much is the salary for them? Okay, what is the demand for them? Search everywhere, search in the Glassdoor, one of the best way, right? You'll get a lot of details in that. Okay, fine, so I'll pause it for 5 minutes here. Okay, any questions, any doubts, any queries? At least 1% you got it now, where DevOps is used. It is used in your day-to-day basis, guys. Every day you're using your applications which are running on DevOps and cloud. It's not us, every person is using, every person, your, in fact your population is using. If I say clearly, Amazon, if you see Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, you see any website, your WhatsApp, Instagram, every child who is born, he's using this one. Okay, every child is born who is going to college, who is get, people are getting old, like everyone who has an account, they're maintaining this, because that is a need, that is a need, right? So everyone is making use of this, fine, everyone is making use of your application. So just check, right? Just check, like just research where things are moving on, right? Because you should have this knowledge before you jump into any course. Okay, check the real time things where your future is there. Okay, how much stability your course is there. Okay, where you're learning this course, how much stability it is there, so that you can. So explore everywhere, guys, explore everywhere, where you have your openings, explore everything, because end of the day is what, that is what you have to do it. So first thing, you explore it, fine. Any questions, any queries, open for it, 5 to 10 minutes, anything you have, any questions?
Yeah, I
Okay,
have one question.
yeah,
What is the difference between DevOps and SRE role?
both are same. So what happens is, when you go for a company, right? So now you are learning this 15 plus tools, but on complete 15 plus tools you'll not get to work. There are some companies which will use it, but what happens when there's a very big company, they have multiple teams. Some people will work for non-production, they'll be working on the all the build part, where they're building a building and everything. Some people will work on deployment, like advanced tools like Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, will be doing customer deployments. Some people will be working as a monitoring, where they sit with the SRE. SRE is mainly for monitoring. Now it's becoming a trend where people are looking for your monitoring tools. Why? Because as the population is growing, as the business is growing, the infrastructure behind that is also growing. So manually monitoring everything is not possible, that's why they require monitoring tools, which is part of your DevOps only. When you say DevOps, DevOps is a package where you have a DevOps tools, Linux administration, you have a SRE and your cloud included. So SRE is a role where you'll be working as a DevOps engineer only, but you'll be morely working on the monitoring of your tools. What are the tools you're working on it? What are the deployments you're doing? What are the cloud you're creating the cloud infrastructure? That level of monitoring you'll be doing it. Your application monitoring, your logging and everything. So more it is like monitoring job, but don't think it's a support job. There you have a lot of work to integrations, installations, lot of work is there. So it depends. It is a mix of role. Some companies may give you cloud with SRE, cloud with DevOps, depends upon it. So it's more over the monitoring part, because today's world monitoring is very important. Everything has to be monitored for your product or your application. Fine. Any more questions? Any more doubts?
what is the course duration? Is it 2 months duration?
Yeah, 2 months. I will say 2.5 months. Why? Because if you see the syllabus very vast, okay, and it will take time. Okay, I will not say like 40 days, 45 days. That is like if you say it's not possible, because 2 months I will say buffer I'll keep like 15 days. Why? Because there are certain holidays, or some places what will happen, we revise some things some people don't understand, or like we have projects, 6 projects to do it, right? So we'll be taking some gap for the projects and everything. We'll be doing projects in between also, right? So minimum 2.5 months is required from me,
Okay.
right? Because if you see the syllabus, right, it is very vast. So it requires time. In something you're learning new, you have to go slow. You can't rush to learn that fastly, right? So that's the reason minimum 2.5 months is required. Fine. Any more doubts? Any
Hi,
more
sir.
queries? Yeah.
Um, I have a question. So, what exactly is DevOps and what we are doing in this DevOps? What we are doing in the real world scenario? I mean,
So
so
real world
can you
scenario,
explain?
what you're doing is your main work is what are the product software application you are the responsible. For example, website is there. Your work is managing the website to make sure that website never goes down. That is with the help of DevOps tools. So if you want to manage a website, you require to learn the DevOps tools. So you should have a knowledge of DevOps tools. You'll be working on the tools knowledge, how to install, how to integrate, okay, how to configure that tool, how to troubleshoot that tool, right? So that tools will be using it, and will be doing automation based on the tools. Okay, that is the one thing. Second thing, cloud. For running any application or creating any website, behind that website you require infrastructure like your machines, okay, your load balancers, your networking thing. So all the infrastructure administration, mostly your DevOps is mostly the administration work. Okay, complete administration of your tools, complete administration of your cloud, that is what you're going to do here. So your daily job is based on your tools, based on your automation things, what you're going to do automate. No coding in automation, doesn't mean coding. There's no coding at all. Everything is pure your Linux work. What are you going to do here?
Okay. So, and I have one more question. So you told me that we have to learn GitHub and
Mm,
Maven, Ansible,
mm, mm,
Jenkins, all these
mm,
tools, right? So
mm,
as a DevOps engineer, we have to learn all these things, right?
mm,
So
mm.
at the same time, we have to work on all these softwares in the real world. I mean, at the
Yes, yes,
thing.
yes. So this
So
is
we
like
have to
all
add.
these tools are not big tools. Some tools
Yes,
are small, some tools are big in terms of concepts, right?
yes,
So basically, what happens is you'll be learning it this one, but what happens is main idea behind this is now when you go for a company, already these tools might be there in the company. When you join a company, already they might have implemented, they've installed everything. Now main goal is how to use these tools and how to automate. Now for example, let's take an example, right? You are using github. Git is used for keeping all the code, keeping all the important files. Where you get the uh, important files in your local, you run the build or something. So how do you automate this one? That means if you have a big procedure, like you have 10 tools, and every tool you have to go and do some operations, okay, one or two steps you have to do in one tool. So how do you bring this in one streamlining process where you click one button and everything is done automatically? So that automation you have to learn it. So all that things will come into picture, but it depends upon again company to company, which company is using what tool. For me, for example, my company may use only Git. It doesn't require any Maven. It might be working on some Python based application. It depends upon it. Then my company may not be using Docker Kubernetes. It may be using only your machine based deployment, no advanced level of technology. So it depends upon company to company. But why are we learning this everything is because we don't know which company will ask what. Okay, so there is a flexibility also here. You can choose your work. You decide, right? No, I just want to learn advanced tools and go with advanced tools. I want to learn all the advanced automations. I want to go. I don't want to stick to basics. It depends upon you. Okay, so profile also will come like that. When you see the job description, All the 15 tools companies will not ask. Company will say, I have this Git, I have a Jenkins, I have a Ansible deployment, I have a Docker. Four tools are there. You'll work with four tools, because again company require license, right, for buying these tools. You are learning in open source, it's fine, but the company, when it goes real time, it buy license. That license is required, right? That is the reason we use this one. That is the reason we go with these tools. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
You'll be touching all the tools here and there. This is all required, but some tools are very small, some tools are little bit big, right? So this is all required for building a product. Any product, if you want, you require this all the tools to build a product, because every tool has its own importance. So that tool is required for us. Fine. Now, so let's go into little bit of technical diagram, understand the flow of this DevOps and cloud. Okay, how do you start, how do you end your work in the day to day? Let's see this one. Fine. Now, so let's see, imagine there is a company called TCS, and there's a client called Mintra. There's a company called TCS and there's a client called Mintra. Okay, so now very first, okay, so Mintra signs a contract with TCS saying that we want a website and an infrastructure maintenance. Okay, we require infrastructure maintenance. Okay, so two things are required here. We require infrastructure maintenance plus the website, both we require it here. Okay, as part of the contract. So now, very first thing you have to understand, the different teams you're working with. Okay, because you have to understand that who will give you the work when you join a company. When you are in a project, who will give you the work? So very first, there is something called product team. There's something called product team. These are called your product managers or your business analyst. Okay, product managers. These product managers are the one who are responsible for getting the entire requirements from the client. What is this website you required? What features you required? What is a cloud you required? What infrastructure required? How many people are going to log in your website? All that information these people will get. Okay, everything these people has to get it. Then second team is your development team. Okay, development team. These are your developers. There are multiple developers, backend developers, front end developers, database developers who are like writing the queries and everything, right? These are responsible for building the your website, or the you're building the application. I'm saying application. Website will be created by us. Application, these people will create it. Then you have your third team called your operational team. So here you have your DevOps sitting here, DevOps engineer sitting here. Okay, you have your DevOps engineers who are sitting here. Will be performing all the operations like infrastructure, managing the website, working on the DevOps tools. All this are work. Right. Then you have the last team, which is called your quality assurance team, which is your QA engineers. These people will do all your testing. Testing means what level of testing? Your functional testing, your load testing, performance testing of the website. Each and every button of the website is working. Is the logging working fine? Okay. Every level of testing they'll be doing with their automation. They have multiple frameworks. They'll be doing this level of testing. So these are the four different teams where you will be interacting. Okay. We'll be interacting. We'll be working on a daily basis. Apart from that, there were different teams in the company, but this is the most for teams, most of the teams which where you touch everyone, right? Product team is the one who will give you the work. Development team who will be writing the code, push into GitHub, you will be get that code and build that artifact, and that once you launch the application, QA people will be using that application. So all these are interdependent. All these things are interdependent. Fine. So now, so work is assigned by your product managers, right? Work is assigned by product managers. Now, once the work is assigned, now who will start the work? Who will start your work? So very first, the work is assigned, work is done.
Planning team.
So very first, your work will be start by your developers. Okay. Now all the work is assigned to us. In the product managers team, the product managers will get all the requirements from there. They'll speak to us, they discuss it. Now we create all the work, right? So we basically call the work here as, we call something called user stories. The work or the tickets user stories are assigned to us. Okay, assigned in the form of tickets. In the form of tickets, they are assigned to us. So that user stories are assigned by your product team. Okay, your product team will be assigning the work to us in the form of user stories, where what level of infrastructure required, what is the machines you have to create, okay, what tools you require to use, okay, what access you require, all that information in the form of user stories. This is assigned by a product team. So they'll be having something called sprint planning meeting. Okay, this sprint planning meeting, this occurs every 2 weeks. Once in 2 weeks this will occur, right? In this meeting they decide everything, what to put, how to use it, everything they decided, right? What to use, what to put, everything will decide it. So tickets, everything is groomed here. So here basically you do the grooming session for the new work. Okay, grooming session for new work, all the issues, blockers, everything they'll speak here. And then apart from that you'll have something called daily scrum call. You have something called daily scrum call. Here you'll have like daily updates within your DevOps team, daily updates within DevOps team. Okay, daily updates. If you have any blockers, issues, blockers, issues, any kind of critical things, right? You'll discuss everything, day-to-day work. You want a solution, etc. Things, right? Okay, about the work, we'll discuss about this, about work. All that things will be discussed because it's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. It's not that you achieve some target, right? DevOps doesn't work like that. When you join a company with the DevOps process, what they do is, even if you don't complete your work in 2 weeks, that work will be spill over to next 2 weeks. Okay, even if you complete 25% of work, that is success for them. Okay, it's not that you have to do 100% of work, etc. Things is not required. Fine. Now come to your next. Now work is assigned. Very first, your developers are the one who will be creating this, developing the code. Until they develop the code, we can't launch the website, we can't create your application there. Okay, so developers are there who will be working on this one. Okay, let the developers write the code. Once they write the code, their work is storing the code in the git or github. We'll be learning the first code called github. Git is a command line interface where you do the git operations, and the github is a storage. Github is a storage where you store it. Okay, so this is basically called as source code management tool. Okay, source code management tool. Now why do we require this github? What is the need to go this github? Okay, any important tool, any important code, any important file will be kept here. Okay, why we have to use this? What is the need of going with this? Let's imagine that you don't have git or github in your company. Okay, git or github is not there in the company. Your company is using a traditional system like a Linux and Windows, right? So imagine that, let's go to a Windows machine. Okay, imagine that my company is using a location called documents location where they're keeping everything. They don't have GitHub kind of a concept. They're not using anything. Traditional Windows machine and Linux machine, they're using it. Now, see here, this file contains some details. What is that? Microsoft Word, author is Raj, size is so and so KB, modified is 16/2023. So now imagine that 10 people are modifying this file in a day. 10 people are changing this file in a day. In that, only the last person name I'm able to see is Raj. His last modified. What about the 10 people? Where are the names tracked? If the 10 people are using this file, where are the names tracked inside this file? We don't have a tracking. Why? Because Windows and Linux person will only tell you the last 45% name who has modified the file. Now imagine that this 10 people has added some content in the file, removed some content, right? Then how to identify that which line, which word, which sentence is modified? We don't have a tracking. So now put that in the real sense scenario. Let's imagine that in the next 1 week we have a clearance sale for my website. Next 1 week I have a clearance sale for my website, right? So now some of the developer were working on some critical code and they deleted something, they left. They deleted something and they left, right? So they created something, they deleted something, they modified something, some code they disturbed it, and they left the company next day. Now the new person came, he doesn't have any idea that what this person did it. So that is a challenge again. That is a challenge where tracking is not there. If tracking is not there, it will impact your customer business, right? What the customer, you want to deliver the product for the customer, that will impact it. So tracking plays a major role. Okay, tracking plays a major role. Second most important is in the Windows, if you create any file like duplicate files. For example, I create this duplicate file, right? Okay. I'll copy it and I'll paste it in the here. So I got a duplicate file. So imagine that if this file is of 10 GB or 2 GB or 3 GB, how much ever it is. If I keep creating a duplicate file, this file will be keep creating, right? That means every time if I copy it is taking duplicate data, storing duplicate data. Now imagine that if you keep duplicate data, your disk is not free. Whatever disk you're buying, it is costly. It's not that free, right? It's not free. So you have to pay. And today you're in the cloud. That means cloud will charge you every month. Monthly charges will charge you, not like one time buying, right? Monthly charges. So imagine that how much billing you'll come. So main reason we with this going with this GitHub tool is very first is your tracking. Second thing is your Second thing is your cost optimization technique. So this Git has a mechanism to optimize the cost. It will not allow you to store duplicate data. It will store only unique data. That is the reason we are going with Git. Two benefits of Git is tracking. Second thing is cost optimization. Second thing is storage cost optimization. What the storage cost is there? That storage cost optimization is there. Fine. No. No. Second tool, after the code is written by developer, after we use this tool, so the second tool is your build tool. Which is your Maven. Second tool is a build tool, which is a Maven build tool. So this build tool, so now why we require this build tool? Now so much of code is written, right? You have to build a software, you have to create a software out of it. To create that software out of this code written by developer, we require a build tool which will do the build activities like all the compilation, test cases, and etc. You will run it, right? So all these things are required. So here this build tool will do all the build and execution. Build and execution of the code. Right? Then now you will do the build and execution. It will prepare your artifacts. We call artifacts here, okay, which will be, for example, I'm building e-commerce website, right? You can build the e-commerce website in the form of .var or in the form of .jar. So they are Java code written in the form of .jar, .var. It will come, right? But why Maven? Why do you require Maven? What is the need for going with Maven, right? Why? What benefit will provide you? So basically, what happens previously when developer is to write this code, what developer is to use? He is to use this command like Java C. Java C, for example, is building one e-commerce website.java file. He is running this Java file. So this is called a compilation. What this doing is compilation. This compilation will generate your dot class file for the e-commerce dot class file. So what this e class file contains? It contains the binary language code. So when your Maven was not in the picture, these people used to do like this. Build your e-commerce website that what are the code you have to run the code like this, compile it. How many files you have, that many files you have to run it. If you have 10,000 files, run the 10,000 file, right? So verify line by line verification. So compilation will what it'll do, it'll create a binary file called ones and zeros and give it to the hardware for processing. Because hardware is the one which will give you the result out of it. And then you do your Java and then you run the e-commerce website right? E-commerce website.java, and now this will do your interpretation. Okay, interpretation where you get the interpretation output, right? So this is how your developers do it. So now to overcome some challenges, now to overcome such challenges, like one file if developer keeps doing, how much time it will take? This is the first thing, right? Second thing, for example, download developers need to download some dependencies. Dependencies means developer requires some inbuilt jar files or something which he requires when dependencies. Okay, download some dependencies for your execution part. So if in case you require some .jar files to be downloaded, okay, imagine that if you want some 1,000 files to be downloaded with exact version and compatibility. Hmm. So all these things, if you want to do it manually, how much time it will take? Imagine. It is not possible for him, right? And then finally, once he writes everything, he has to bundle the code, to build final artifact. Okay, build the final artifact which file war file what you required. So that is what he has to do it. So imagine that if developer keeps doing this kind of a part, how much time it will take for huge files. For example, there are 1,000, 10,000 files for a website. Imagine how much time it will take for him to do it. So to overcome all these challenges which is manual doing, so this Maven tool they brought, which Maven tool, okay, this Maven tool provides all user friendly commands like your compile, test, package, etc., right? All these user friendly commands it will provide, and also it will download all the dependencies automatically. Okay, all the dependencies automatically downloaded, fine. So this is how it is done. This is how it is done. So to overcome all the challenges of developers day-to-day work, they wanted a built-in tool where you have a user-friendly commands. Just hardly some 7 to 10 commands are there. That's it. It will do automatically. It will do everything automatically. It will run all the uh, executions. It will do the compilation. It will generate the artifacts. Okay, it will run. It will run some reports. It will download some reports. Everything will do it. And finally, to give you this kind of a software called e-commerce website.war or jar file. Okay, e-commerce website.war or jar file, which will use. Okay, fine. I'll give you all this. So this is your build tool which is used where developer was doing it. Now it is in the raw bucket. Now we'll be doing it. You don't need to run this Java commands. It has a built-in commands. Okay, which will do it built-in. You don't need to worry about the execution. Now after this you have something called next tool called your no. So much of code is written, right? Now so much of code is written. Okay, so much of code is written. So if I go and launch the application, for example, I'm launching this application, so I require a tool called Tomcat. Now, next tool is a Tomcat. Tomcat is a web/application server to launch applications. Launch applications. So here, what I'll do is, it is a very simple tool. You don't need to do anything here. Just pick up your WAR file. So wherever Tomcat is installed, in this which location, you just need to put your deploy the e-commerce website. Just put it here, e-commerce website.war, you put it here. Okay, and this will, what it will do, this will give you one URL, http colon double slash some IP address colon your port number slash application. They give you one URL. With that URL, you can open this. With that URL, you can open this. Right? So this is what your Tomcat does. Simple tool. Just pick up this one, put deploy it here. Rest everything is done. Application is open. Now give this application to the QA team. They will do the testing. Meanwhile, now so much of code is written, right? There are chances that developer will be picking up some code from the online. If he gets errors, he will be taking some downloading some code from some other place. Now what happens if the code is compromised, where your application will get hacked, that means the website will get attacked and people will hack your code. So we require a tool called SonarCube. This is the tool which will do the code scanning. This is the one of the code scanning tool. We call it as static code analysis tool. This is to check the duplication of code. Developer, they are writing so much code, right? Duplication of code will be there. There's a chance that duplication of code, right? Duplication of code. Okay, there are chance that there will be some unknown statements. Okay, some spaces, etc. things which will attack to your hacker attack, because if code is compromised, if they use some outdated methods, developers written outdated methods, functions, okay, etc. things, all that SonarQube will detect. So basically this will detect the bugs and vulnerabilities. It will detect your bugs and vulnerabilities means outdated code or the virus. Okay, automatically it will detect everything, which will do the code scanning, code checks and everything, which will detect everything automatically. Okay, all that capability SonarQube has. And also your client will ask you report for the bugs and issues, bugs and vulnerabilities, or your duplication of code. You'll ask your reports. So that report you have to submit. Only then they will allow you to go and launch a website. Otherwise, they'll not allow you to go and make the change in the website. So this is where your SonarCube comes into picture. Second tool, which is scanning, very important tool. 2024 they'll be bringing this tool as DevSecOps. Okay, 2025 I believe. Not, they're still planning it. It has not come in the market completely, but people are planning it. Okay, not exact tools are there. There are some legacy tools, people are using it, but 2025 they want to bring something called DevSecOps. Okay, one security is going to add in DevOps. Now code is written, build is done, we launch the application, we give it for testing. I'm saying application, I'm not saying website we have to create it. That's why I'm giving only the IP address. Fine. How to create a website, I'll tell you now. And then SonarCube is due for the scan. Now everything is done, right? Now where do you store this war file, jar file which you created? You store it securely someplace, right? So there is where you have a tool called JFrog Artifactory. JFrog Artifactory. JFrog Artifactory. This JFrog Artifactory is, so JFrog Artifactory, this is to store all the artifacts. Okay, all the artifacts. For artifacts, for example, you have this e-commerce website, right? E-commerce website dot war or dot jar file, whatever you have, that war jar file, you can store it here. Okay, each and every website application you can store it here. So why do you require this storage? Very first, this is very secured. It has a good security, it has a proper user management, and most important thing, it has a proper download and upload speed. What do you mean by this? Download upload speed. So now imagine that we have a a change to be launched in Amazon. Or take an example that I have Amazon. or I have a Mintra, I have a Flipkart, whatever it is. Okay, so okay, I have Amazon, Mintra, whatever it is. So here what happens? Let's suppose, okay, on next Saturday or Sunday, I have some clearance sale. I'm working for clearance sale. I'm planning for some clearance sale. So I want some clearance sale here. Okay. So I have released some notification here saying that a clearance sale is going to come. So now what happened? Exactly at 12 o'clock on next Saturday, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, I want this website to be changed to product change. Okay. I want this website to be changed to the discount pages. Everything should be discount here. All the things should have a good discount. Everything should come in discount automatically. Okay. This website should change and I should get discount pages everywhere. Now what happens if my, for example, I don't have JFrog. Imagine that I am working in Windows machine. In my Windows machine, imagine that in the C drive, I have kept my jar file, war file, which is 10 GB. And in the D drive, I have my Mintra application running. Imagine that my Mintra is running in my some Windows machine, some D drive, and C drive, I've stored all the applications. Now, from the C drive to D drive, if you copy 10 GB file, how much time it will take? From the C drive to D drive, if you copy 10 GB file, it will take minimum like, it'll run a bar here. It will show you one dialog box or some bar. It will show you like 45 minutes left, 50 minutes left. But I'm saying like exact 12 o'clock, I have to change the website. I don't have that 1 hour time, 1 minute time also is now. I have fraction of seconds only. The moment customer or the end users will refresh it, I should see the discount pages. So how that download speed will match it? That is where we have a JFrog, which will download and upload within fraction of seconds. Fraction of seconds, which will download and upload fraction of seconds. And most important thing, you have to secure it properly, because if by mistakenly this e-commerce website.jar or war goes in the wrong hand, so people will create a duplicate website like mintraclearancesale.com. Website will look good, same as Mintra, but what will happen? Someone will attach a fraud account to this payment account. You will make a payment will go to fraud account, and they will never get a product. You'll never get a product. So that's the reason. This is the effort made by a company, huge effort. This is almost a huge effort made by a company to create this software and then launch it, right? So these are your five basic tools: Git, Maven, SonarCube, JFrog, Tomcat. So Git is for storing the code, Maven for build, SonarCube for quality check, JFrog for your storage, or Tomcat for launching the application. There are five tools, right? These five tools are the one which you require for building any product. Fine. This is now work. Now developer got a relief from this build tool. Now developers were doing this activity, we took it, right? Now we also want a relief, right? There is where you're going to learn a next advanced tool called Jenkins. This is one of the automation tool, or we call it as continuous integration tool. Automation tool or continuous integration tool. Automation tool or continuous integration tool. Okay, so this is one tool where you can automate everything. This tool has a lot of features like build management, proper user management. Okay, all the automations, and main thing, it is a graphical user interface. Main thing, it is a graphical user interface. This also has a graphical, but mostly we'll be doing all the build part with the command line. So here what happens? Now every time I can't go to Git, Maven, everything. It's difficult for me. So what you do is, one time you do the integration. You integrate your Git with your Jenkins. You integrate your Maven with the Jenkins. Okay. If you see here, All the tools you integrated, just do a one click, everything will run automatically from here. That level of automation we can achieve with Jenkins. Okay, it will automatically clone the code, it will run the build, it will call your SonarQube, JFrog and Tomcat. Everything it will do it in single shot. Okay, everything it will do it in single shot for you. Okay, that is where your Jenkins is there. Okay, it will do all the things now. Okay, my code is written, Maven build is done, software is built, SonarCube scan is done, JFrog is storing it, Tomcat is launching it. But do you think this Mintra is running on only a single machine? Is this Mintra application running on the single machine where you deployed? It is not running in single machine, it is running in thousands of machines. See your Netflix. Netflix uses almost 1 lakh servers for running the Netflix website. Okay, so that means I require a huge website. For in an instance, if I want to put this website war, what is the Mintra war in multiple servers, then how can I do it? Okay, in how can I do it? So there is where you have Ansible. Now imagine that if I tell you take, okay, take some one server and go install your Tomcat which contains 10 steps, go and deploy the war file which contains some 3 to 4 steps. Now there are total 15 steps. Now every server you have to log in, every server you have to do it. Now imagine that if I ask you to do the same thing in 100 machines, how much time it will take? It will take a huge time, right? It is not possible for us to do that. It's not possible for us to work on it, right? So there is a reason this Ansible is one tool which is called as automation tool or configuration management tool. It's called automation tool. It's a Ansible is automation tool or configuration management tool. Here you can do all the installations, uninstallations, your upgrades, your rollbacks in just fraction of seconds. Hundreds and thousands of machine, okay, and your complex configuration changes. This is the main purpose of this. That means if, okay, for example, I give you one file which has 1,000 lines. I say edit 50 lines and do the same thing in the hundreds of servers. How much frustrating job it is. Moreover, that you'll make a lot of mistakes in that because humans are tend to make mistakes, right? To overcome some challenge, you just say in the Ansible, it will go and deploy in 1,000 machines within fraction of seconds. You'll do and install thousands of machines within fraction of second. That benefit we have with Ansible. Again, what you can do, you can go and integrate your Ansible with your Jenkins. You can just click graphically, just one click button, it will go and connect to Ansible, go and deploy in thousands of machines. That is where your Ansible comes into picture. So main concept of Ansible is it's a configuration management tool which will do all level of automations for you. Okay, all levels of automations which can achieve it. So thousands of machines you can go and deploy application within fraction of seconds. Fine. Then now next is your Docker Kubernetes. Why do you require Docker Kubernetes? Docker and Kubernetes, right? Why do you require Docker and Kubernetes? Why people are running behind Docker and Kubernetes? So imagine that you just buy a laptop, right? You buy a laptop which costs today from 20k to 2 to 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, right? Imagine the real-time servers, how much it will be there, which has a 1,000 core CPU, 1,000 GB RAM. How much the cost will be there? 5 to 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. So if I say I want 1 lakh server from Intra, imagine how much cost it will be like. 10 lakhs is one server. 10 lakhs into 1 lakh servers. It will go in crores. No one can buy that many servers. So there is where they brought a concept called Docker and Kubernetes, which is a containerization. Okay, containerization, which has a mechanism. Okay, so main reason this is to reduce the cost, which has a mechanism to create, to launch applications in single server, 1,000 containers. A container is a lightweight operating system. It's lightweight operating system. In it has a mechanism, okay, which will reduce the infra cost. It will reduce the infra cost. So main reason is it is reducing the infra cost. Second thing is zero downtime. Zero downtime. Application will never be downtime. Zero downtime. It has a mechanism of zero downtime. This is the main reason we are going it. Again, there is a huge explanation on this. When we start the course, we'll give the explanation on this. So again, what you can do is you can again use this one. Okay, again you can integrate it. So main example is this Netflix. I'll give you one example of Netflix. If you see Netflix, right, I will open Netflix, you will open Netflix, and I will open Netflix in multiple. Or you take your YouTube. You open YouTube, right? You click your YouTube, right? You see the YouTube. When you're using this YouTube, what will happen is, previously opening one YouTube we used to play only in one tab. Other play YouTube, you open another tab, it is not play. Now you open in hundreds tabs or 20 tabs YouTube, it will play every video. Why? If I say that one youtube one YouTube machine, okay, for one user, if he is paying one movie, that you one that if a person is playing one movie, that one movie execution happen in one machine. Imagine that if every person is using one machine for one execution, imagine how many machines you require it. It's not possible. That's why they brought a concept of containerization where you create thousands of containers. That's why today you write, right, you open millions of users using your YouTube, Netflix, how they are playing, and everyone is playing that. How much infrastructure these people require it. So that's why they have a concept of Docker and Kubernetes. Go and search, any entertainment channel is using Docker and Kubernetes to reduce the infrastructure cost. It is more reliable and most advanced technology which you have. Okay, now what else you require apart from this? You require your cloud knowledge. You require your cloud knowledge, because all these things tools you are going to install in the cloud only, right? So you require a cloud knowledge. So require your Azure cloud knowledge. Okay, the last part is Azure cloud knowledge, right? So this Azure cloud, you have a lot of services. Now I told you we just created application, right? How do you create this website then? You have something called Azure DNS. This Azure DNS has a capability to for creating your website. That means if I give you like website name, okay, trainingacademy.com, it is easy to remember. But if I give you IP address of that application, you can't remember that. The DNS will create this application. Okay, DNS will create. Likewise, you have a load balancer. Now, why do you require this load balancer? Now I have thousands of machines, right? How the request will come to my application? So this load balancer is one which will, before it goes from whatever I hit the request from here, it will go to load balancer. Load balancer will distribute my work to hundreds of machines. That is how the load balancer is used. Same way you have VNets, virtual networks for the networking. How many IP addresses you want? That networking is there. Then you have your disk management. You can manage the disk, all the disk management. You can have this disk management. Okay. Then you have your storage, your blob storage, and every storage is there, right? All the storages will be learning here. Okay, so likewise we have your virtual machines. You require a virtual machines, right? VMs. Okay, that VMs are required. So I'll not be putting all the concepts here. So we'll see this concept when we start learning. So all these things are required for you, your VNets, your storage, your networks, and everything, right, for using this one. So all these things, then your auto scaling, automatically how it will scale and scale down. So then you have something called auto scale set, auto scale set, which is required here as part of this. Example, today in my Mintra.com, normal day, 1 lakh people are logging. There's a sale day, I don't know, millions of people will log in. How my infrastructure will be managed? Automatically this auto scale will scale up the machines in the backend, scale down when the people log out of the website. So there is where your important concepts of your cloud, right? Okay, there are much more beyond that, we'll learn it. And then once you learn this complete cloud, you have the last thing called Terraform. Terraform, okay, the Terraform, this is the one which will do your infrastructure automation. Infrastructure automation, okay, infrastructure automation, which again you can go and integrate this with your Jenkins, and from here you can go and create your infrastructure, whatever you want to create in cloud. Now you're creating this in graphical user in your Azure account. Okay, you'll be doing this in your Azure account. What the Azure portal is there, in that Azure portal you'll be doing it. But if I want to do automation, I don't want this every time to go and click 100 clicks here. I don't want to create this as 100 clicks here, right? I want to do a one click where my hundreds of machines are created in fraction of seconds. There is where we go with Terraform automation. Fine. And then we'll cover some monitoring part. Some monitoring tools are there that will cover as a monitoring tools. Fine. So this is what the flow. In this 4 or 5 different pictures are there. Okay. In this there are 4 or 5 pictures are there. So you'll have a different flows. Some you'll be doing some build part and deploying in Docker. Some things you'll be deploying the VM via Ansible. Okay. So somewhere you'll be creating a infrastructure automation with Terraform. So all these things are different pipelines which you will be creating. That's why I told you 6 projects. Why we creating 6 projects? because there are different flows. Everywhere there are different flows which you need to work it. So different flows you'll be working it here. That is the reason I took it there. That is the reason I brought it there, where you'll be using these different flows for your project. So Ansible way of deployment, okay, your Kubernetes way of deployment. So all these are different deployments, VM based deployment with Ansible. So all these different projects, I'll break down this diagram into different projects and will work in the real time how it works. That's why 6 different projects we planned it. This is the overall flow which you're working on, overall flow which you're using it, where you'll be working on DevOps tools. Fine. So in this depends upon how many companies use. If the company says I want Git, Maven, SonarQube, and this one Jenkins, I don't want advanced tools. That depends upon company. If the company says I have a Git, Maven, and Jenkins, I don't want this one. Okay, and then I will go with the cloud. So it depends upon, right. You can go in the both way. Either you can go as a cloud engineer, or you can go as a DevOps engineer, or when you're learning monitoring, you can go as a SRE, or if you want to go all together, you can go all together. Okay, depends upon, if you want to go on only an advanced as a deployment engineer, you can work as deployment engineer. So you have a lot of different flexibility to select your job. Fine. So this is what your end-to-end diagrams is. Fine. Any questions, guys? Any doubts? Any queries?
Yeah, one question. In the practical session, you'll be demoing actual jar file and how to
Everything.
deploy.
Yes, everything that is there. We'll be building it from the scratch. Everything will be taking a code from the internet. We'll be downloading that code and we'll be working on it. It is there. So everything we'll be doing it from the practical way. You see this one. This is a running batch. Now currently it is running. You see this is a Maven is here. We'll be doing all that builds, how to create these artifacts and everything. We'll be learning all the commands of Maven commands, and we'll be building that jar file, war file, everything. I'll be giving you all the projects, how the I'll explain you how the structure and everything looks, and we'll be creating the complete jar files, war file. What are the jar file, war file is there? We'll be creating the jar file, war files. Fine.
Okay. And every day, it is a everyday session or only weekend sessions?
No, daily session. Daily session will be there. Daily
It's
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
Daily 1 hour, half an hour practical, half an hour theory. Whatever you explain in theory, that will be in the practical.
Will you provide any it will be the same practical
Sorry.
task to
Yeah.
perform?
I'll give you task. We have scenario based task. We'll be giving you scenario based task. Everywhere it is there. Don't worry. Like we have scenarios. I'll give you all the scenario based. See the Linux practicals. What are Linux practicals? Scenario based practicals, right? So everything will be giving in the form of practicals. I'll be giving you questions, answers. There are PDFs also. In the PDFs also, you have task where you can do it. Apart from my daily practicals, separate practicals I'll give you again. Fine. And the
Oh,
last and the
okay.
most important thing,
Thank you.
yeah. Any more questions?
Daily it's same timing from morning 8 o'clock.
Not 8 o'clock. They'll inform you about timing. Institute will call you about timing. Maybe it is like
Okay.
7 or 6. I don't know the batch timing. They'll
Sure.
tell you. Fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. They'll inform you about timing and free structure, everything. Fine. Any more doubts? Any more
Sure.
questions? Any more questions?
Uh, do we need to learn any prerequisite before starting the sessions?
No, nothing. Everything I'll teach you from the scratch.
Okay. With this much knowledge, I mean, after doing this training, what kind of certification do you need to achieve?
I'll walk you through now. Okay, that is the next slide. I'll walk you through. Fine.
Okay.
So gain the skills first entirely. See the proper roadmap. Okay. Understand the market, guys. How much salary you're getting, how much work is there, how much demand is there, everything explore. That is important before you go there. Okay. And coming to the roadmap, this is the roadmap. So first, if you're a programmer, you learn programming. If you are a DevOps engineer, you learn your Linux skills. First, learn Linux, then learn your DevOps, then go for your Azure, and then we learn monitoring. Or you learn Linux, cloud, then DevOps. Anything is fine. Okay, and then coming to your certifications, you can do DevOps level certifications. Then you have Azure certifications. Either Azure administration, you do it, and then you go for DevOps. First, do Azure administration, then for DevOps. Right? This is the level 1, level 2. For a developer, you have Azure developer. Fine. So this is like question and answer Q&A. This is like your practical session. Okay. So level 1, level 2. Okay. So both are like 2 items. They'll give you some 10,000 change plus GST is the price for that. Fine. So this is the certification level which you can do it. So different level tools. So there are a lot of vendors. Even Microsoft gives you. Okay, when you register with them, they'll give you a dumps. They'll give you everything related to it. Okay, they'll give you dumps and everything related to it. Fine. So any more questions, any more doubts you have, any more queries? Hmm? So you can go with the certifications that is there in the official website. You'll get it from there. Fine. Any doubts, any questions, any queries? Fine. So learn the entire roadmap first properly, then plan for certification. But I recommend don't do certification. Don't do the certification uh, for a job purpose. If your company is giving you that, then go ahead, because the certificate is just for 2 years. After that, it is not valid. So I recommend, if you're getting a position, if you're looking for a higher position, like going for the next level, go it. If for the job change, don't do it, because no one will judge based on certification. You have to crack the interview. That is my personal suggestion. Because it's waste. After 2 years, it is meaningless, because either way you have to speak in the interview. It is just a criteria to select for the interview, but not to pass the interview. Right. But still, if you want to go, you can go it. Do this, any one of them. Okay, Azure administration or Azure DevOps engineer. Fine. Okay, any more doubts, any more queries, any more questions, if I can help? If I can help anything for you guys, would be great. Any more questions, any more doubts, any more queries? At least 1%, I hope you got it, where DevOps is used in real time. Every place it is used, so explore it, guys. Before you join a course, anywhere you join, it doesn't matter. Explore it, right? Which all places it is used, what is the salary, what is my growth. Okay, because it's one time learning. You can't every year, you can't switch to technology, right? Switch it once, be there for less, at least 10 to 15 years. Okay, that is where your career, basically we have 25 years of career when you start. But just minimum I'm saying, right? Maximum you can go. Okay, because this is one technology which doesn't have any competition, which is required. Doesn't matter how much AI comes in the market, doesn't matter how much gen AI or whatever the automation comes, this will not impact this one. Maybe developers work will impact, but this will not impact, because we require, okay, we require people sitting behind your website to take care of your all your websites to be up and running 24 by 7. Okay, your data to be secure, your infrastructure to be maintained. So as the population is growing, this demand for this is growing. So check anywhere, go and check anywhere, explore anywhere. Okay, you'll get a good feedback on this DevOps and the cloud. Fine. This year you learn Azure, next year you will try to learn AWS, and after that next year learn GCP, and keep all the three clouds in your resume, right? So all are similar. The way your clouds are similar, usage is similar, only the vendor is different, right? The naming conventions are different, but the logic is same. Logic is same. So that's why just put all the three. Okay, have a good weightage on your resume. That will help you to get a good salary in the market. Fine. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Any more doubts? Any more queries? Right? If no questions, then take a pause. I'll pause it. They'll give you a recording of this. They'll give you the diagram of that and the syllabus part and everything. And also, if you want any doubts, if you want to talk one on one to me, just call to institute. They'll have a conference call to me, right? You can in person. You can discuss with me in case you want to talk. Fine. Okay, then, guys. I'm taking a pause. I'm stopping it here. Fine. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.